Hello, welcome to the second part where I show you how I created the mockup of some opera parts. In the first part, I showed you how I create the tempo track and what is my go-to trills library. Now let's talk about other libraries, the reverb settings, and the challenge at another opera part. So at first, let's listen to the start of Bohem. And now let's talk about the strings at first. My concept has been that I use a lot of Spitfire symphonic strings and sometimes the chamber strings because the reference track sounded very huge and had a very big room. So I wanted to use a library that has a big room too. Sometimes I like to use other libraries, the area scoring strings, or some other parts, the cinematic studio strings, and it goes on and on. But here I wanted to use this part. And the Spitfire symphonic strings have a lot of room. So let's go, for example, to this part. These are the Spitfire symphonic strings. And here I added the other strings, but at the beginning I've shown in the other episode, here are the trills. I can show it to you again. Let's do this. And here we got the pizzicato playing. Yeah, and here I'm using the cinematic studio strings because here I like the sound more, or it matched more to the reference track. But I like the pizzicato bass by the Spitfire symphonic strings. So big and so roomy. Okay, but here I've chosen the chamber strings and the performance legato. So it's very great because you can play at different speeds. Like it very much, and it differs what kind of velocity you choose. So I've chosen this part here at this. And let's hear it in context. So I use another library, the LA scoring strings. And here I like the Consodino because you've got multiple sections. Let's listen to the Consodinos all here. I guess we can listen to the whole string section. So here I used the LA scoring strings legato, but again at multiple sections. The last part, I layered something. So just one note, very long. And here I wanted to add some more shiny and some more warmth. These are just the Consordino strings by Arian 2, but not all of them. And here are some high strings, the flautendo, again by Arian 2, or called Logria. I just wanted to add some more really soft, bright ensemble sound. Okay, next are the woodwinds. So I love the Berlin winds or Berlin woodwinds. What I here love, you've got the first flute, you've got the second flute, first oboe, second oboe, and so on, and not just ensembles and one solo instrument. So here you can see the clarinet is playing in two different parts. So we need two solo clarinets. And here is the flute. So we need two flutes. And it's not very great to have the same solo instrument and play the different keys, because sometimes the two parts are playing the same key. And it's not very good to have the same patch playing the same keys. Sometimes you can get phasing issues and so on and on. For example, here you see both flutes got to play the same. And so I love Berlin woodwinds. And let's listen to the woodwinds. And sometimes I add some cinewinds. And the cinewinds are recorded in a really big room too. And so I didn't have to add so much reverb. I guess I had to add more reverb at Berlin woodwinds than at the cinewinds. I use a few harps. So here is my harp from Symphonic Sphere. And here I love the pedal version, but at this part I didn't need it. And we've got this part. But I've chosen this one. And what I like to use with the harp is to add some reverb, not additional reverb, but I want to put the harp into a room sometimes. And reverb is great for doing this. So we've got two different versions. We've got the Cine harp, this one. And we've got the harmonics. And now listen what the harp is playing here. We don't have so much percussion, but it starts with a grocasa. That's it. One hit. But what we have the whole time is the timpani with a crescendo, or not a crescendo, a tremolo here called roll. And this goes on and on. I've got two libraries for the timpani. The one is the timpani by Cineperc. But sometimes it's too big for me and has too much bass, so I choose the timpani by Orchestral Tools, just one library. So it has got more sound, more impact, more attack. You can hear it better, and it's not just boom. So sometimes this one is better, sometimes the other one. Here I just wanted to have the timpani by Orchestral Tools. And in the end, we've got the soft hits. Okay, now we can go to the brass sections, and perhaps you can see what I use here most of the time. Let's do this. So, yeah, here I use the Berlin brass and some Junkie XL. So let's have a look. Here I'm using the horns. It's great because the Berlin brass and Junkie XL brass, or now they're called Tom Hockenberg's brass, are recorded at the same location in the TEDx Studios, Berlin. And let's listen to the brass. And I like them, or I love them, because you've got the first tone, the second tone, the third, the fourth, and so on. You don't have so many solo instruments at the Junkie XL brass, but the horns by Berlin brass can't play fortissimo. So you see, and here, that's not fortissimo. For example, I start at low and then I move the mod wheel to the maximum. And now Junkie. Yeah, this is hard. So sometimes I use the Junkie XL horns for adding some brightness. And the other part here, we got the trombones. I wanted to have the trombones for adding some warm sound. Now let's talk about reverb. Sometimes I use altiverb, but most of the time just for putting instruments into the room, not for reverb. And here is my lexicon reverb for the strings. Here I'm nearly at 2.4 seconds. Most of the time my long reverb is a little bit shorter, and at this production I used more reverb than most of the time. So most of the time, I guess I'm at -8 or less, but here I put so much reverb to it, so I didn't just want to have longer reverb, I wanted to have more reverb. I want to show you a challenge we had. The second song, this has been a part of I Puritani, and you can see here the orchestra is playing just a little bit, and then we've got the vocals, and they are singing very long because the 16ths are very slow and very free. And let's go to another part here. So the orchestra is just playing one hit, and then we get the vocals, 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 and then they start together. And we've got more parts here where this is happening. So I can create the same rest as the original singer, the reference file are playing, but then the singer at the event has to be as fast as the original. And this is very hard because the singer can't be there with a clock and count the seconds, or another person staying before them and saying you got to be faster and slower. And a singer is an artist, so they want to perform on their own. So what should I do? You can see it here. I created a few cycle markers, and then here is the rest for the singer, and here we start the next one. So let's listen to the first part. And singing, 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 singing. And the next part. That's it. Let's listen to the next part. There are more parts that have more notes in it. So here we've got 11 parts, and I prepared the score for the Technicum. So you can see this is the first page, and here is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and so on. So we had some technical engineer who can read the score, and I guess he prepared the Stream Deck. I don't know what kind of software he used, a sampler perhaps, or Ableton or Reaper, I don't know. But he prepared his Stream Deck, and he had to press the right key at the right time. So I guess they did 3 rehearsals, 2 at the room of the singer, and the third one at the event location, and the next day they had the event. For mock-ups like this, for me it's very important to have the perfect balance between the different instruments. For example, flute and violin 1, or French horn and bassoon. A lot of people create a mock-up like this or others and find the right settings, but this can take a lot of time. So I did some recordings with the Budapest Orchestra, and the violin played just 2 bars, a very short piece at fortissimo and pianissimo. After this, you recorded the violin 2. After this, viola, and so on. So we got a very short snippet, and we hear it, and I play it, I can find the perfect settings and go to the next instrument. So it can be very fast. A lot of people ask me, can I have the recordings? I said yes, and after a few times I said, well, I can sell this product. So this product is called Orchestra Guide. You have the Decca tree, that's the most important part for this. You got the Pro Tools session, but we've prepared the Decca tree on 44.1 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz, sorted at the instruments. And normally you can have for the full price, but now it's for a short time for you for 25% discount with the code BOHEM. So at the right top, you can see the Orchestra Guide trailer, and at the right bottom, you can see how I compose the music for a planetarium show. When you got some questions or suggestions, just leave a comment. I would like to read and answer them. See you the next time. Bye.